We are going live. We might already be live. What's up, everybody? And welcome back to Hooksets Are Free. My name is Tyler, and it is Saturday night, October the 22nd, 2022. It is the end of my daughter's fall break this week. So, um, we are kind of back to normal here in my household. And so I am back to regular programming here and thought I would hop on and hang out with you guys here on this fine Saturday evening. Now that I'm back here in Colorado, I do have a package from Discount Tackle that I am going to open with you guys while I drink this beer. And hope you guys are having a great Saturday night. So, see a couple people in here already. I see Brendan, I see Daniel, and I see Matt. What's up, gentlemen? Guys, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up real quick. I see Caro. Yo, yo. How are you guys doing tonight? Michael Bradley, good evening to you as well, guys. I am perhaps going to have to live vicariously through you guys this evening. If you want to tell some adventures of your own that you've had while fishing lately, because I have not been out fishing much as of late at all. And even just looking at the baits in front of me gets me itching to get out. Like, I haven't had a chance to throw, the Arma joint yet. This sexy little mini max combo looks awesome. I deconstructed a couple of my swim jigs that I had turned into chatterbaits using the Queen Tackle Switchblade. So 6 Cents Divine swim jig, Dirty Jigs California swim jig, and just gonna repurpose these guys back to what they were originally made for, because I took a few of them out to compare in terms of action, how I like it versus the other chatterbaits that are really in my rotation. And quite frankly, I don't like them as much. So while it's a cool idea, I just wanted to be realistic and bring some of these swim jigs back into my rotation. But honestly, I haven't been fishing more than maybe a couple of times this month. And here we're at the 22nd. So either way, it feels weird for me to have only caught a couple of fish this month at all, and to have only been out a couple of times. So I'm kind of itching, but I get my fix by hearing about other people's adventures, watching other videos, and purchasing tackle, right? As we all do. So I have a package here that I'm going to open in just 1 second. We've been on for 3 minutes. We've got 7 people in here, it looks like. I'm going to rip into this in 1 second. Michael says, not much excitement. 3 bites all day. Only boated 2. Dang, that is a long day. Sorry to hear that, man. But still, caught 2 fish. Better than nothing, dude. Daniel says, I made one for deep running with 6 Cents Divine hybrid jig in 3/4 and the switchblade. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, because in my opinion, the Queen Tackle Switchblade does have a medium thump, and I still haven't perhaps perfected how to bend the blade. Out of the package, these just come flat, right? But I have attempted to bend all of these similarly to how like a chatterbait blade comes stock in the pack, right around that same area. And to be honest, it doesn't thump quite as hard or consistently. So I could see it being really effective for that purpose, is putting it on a heavier jig where you don't necessarily need the consistency. You just need the vibration. So the startup time and just how hard the bait thumps isn't quite as important as, say, maybe the shape of the head or the hook that's in the jig. So yeah, I totally understand why you might want to convert certain baits into chatterbaits, and that's why I had originally done so with these various swim jigs, right? Um, all totally different hooks. You know, we've got a light wire on this Strike King with a light weed guard. This is a very middle of the road with the 6 Sense Divine swim jig. I like the screw lock keeper on it. I like the weed guard. It's stiff but not too stiff, and you don't see too many chatterbaits on the market with a weed guard on them. And then this is just like the heavy duty California swim jig with that gaff of a hook. So, um, you know, you don't see a lot of variation between chatterbaits and the thickness of the hook and weed guards on them, things like that. So that is the main reason that I went about making them in the first place. But like sometimes happens, it didn't pan out like I thought it would. So whatever. Carl says one dink, but I wasn't trying too hard. LOL. Well, that is kind of funny. Matt says I haven't been out this week, only last week. Yeah, dude, looked real good for you last weekend. Looks like you were catching the snot out of them. I don't know how you would have been able to stop going when they were biting so well, dude. Oh, and you had a lake that was recently stocked with trout. That's something that's on my mind, is going somewhere because it's that time of year, right, where everybody's stocking with trout, and it's just on a rolling basis here in Colorado. So it's only a few lakes per week. So it's a bit random and something that I have to check on a regular basis. But okay, guys, there is not a ton in this package, but I've got good news for you. Because I was lazy and did not edit or post the unboxing video that I recorded from last month's package at Discount Tackle, I have that package sitting here as well. Even though I've recorded an unboxing video of it already, you guys haven't seen it. You helped me pick out some of the stuff in that order, but you might not remember it all that well. All right, guys. So as is typical in every order with Discount Tackle, got a little thank you card, and what do you know? A new design, pretty sweet. Discount Tackle looks like almost like a, yeah, it's a Z-Man collaboration. So you got that Z for Z-Man in the background with Discount Tackle. I am not mad about that. First time I've seen that design. That's pretty cool. And let me show you a quick little breakdown of what we ordered. You know what? I'm not going to show you, but there's the invoice. Because most of my order is made up by one thing that popped up on their website. But let's start a little more obscure and talk about something that I just got on a whim, and I'm very curious to know if you guys have seen this bait or what you think about it, and if you could see an application for it. So, Frank Doucette in the house. You almost missed it, but you didn't, dude. You're only 9 minutes late, so no big deal. What's up? How you doing? Daniel, I haven't, man. I'm procrastinating about that. You need to follow up with me about that offline, not during a stream, so that that's a reminder for me. But I don't have any excuses. I haven't yet, though. Okay, so here is the bait I'm talking about. This is a new bait from ICAST 2022. It did win best of category, I guess, for saltwater soft baits or something. And this is a crab bait made to be a saltwater bait. You can see it's got this hole-shaped belly. And the tail trails behind it. So you rig it Texas rigged, presumably, but up through, I would guess that the hook comes through this meaty part here and then up and lays in the hook slot. And so you have this interesting belly shape that might allow for a little bit more gliding action on the fall. And this tail is relatively thin, the material of it. So I would think that it's going to have pretty good kicking action at slow speeds. But I figured a bait like this doesn't necessarily need to be just a saltwater profile. I don't think it looks exactly like a crab, but the cool thing is it doesn't really look like anything else on the market right now. It looks a little bit like a bait fish, um, laying flat. So I don't know. I feel like I could figure out a way to use this thing. It's 3.5 inches long. I like the size. This color is called Purple Demon, and I like it. So I decided to give that guy a whirl. I'll tell you what I paid for all of these baits because some of them were on sale. And as you guys know, Z-Man and Discount Tackle have a really good relationship. So you can always save money on all things Z-Man at Discount Tackle, and I recommend that you do so. If you're going to buy anything Z-Man, you might as well go to Discount Tackle and use my link, please. So anyway, the kicker crabs is $4.24 for a pack of 3 of them, and I thought I'd give it a whirl. Matt says, I know big fish are capitalizing on that. The tide was getting into the nighttime when they were biting close to 10 and 11 p.m. Main reason I stopped going. Got it. Okay, so the tide just was kind of pushing too late. Interesting. Brennan says he thinks it'd be good on a chatterbait. Yeah, size-wise, it would work. Bulky profile, subtle tail kick. Yeah, for sure. That's a great idea. Swim bait or swim jig, chatterbait, buzz bait. I think it could all be awesome. Free rig, nice. Yeah, Carolina rig too. Matt says I was looking at those. They look interesting. Probably would smack some stripers. Yeah, for sure. Z-Man is working on a mag Hellraiser too. Well, I haven't even taken a look at the Hellraiser, so I wouldn't consider getting the Magnum Hellraiser before the regular, but that's just me. Okay, so other Z-Man product I got because it was cheap. This guy was $4.20, I think. It's the Z-Man Turbo Fatties. I've used this bait a little bit, and I want to get to know it a little bit better. So this is a really interesting bait that nobody's really talking about. This is a 6-inch swimming worm that has the girth of like a 7-inch Senko or a Zoom Magnum Ultra Vibe speed worm. It's a very thick worm, and obviously made from Elastec. But this is almost as fat as the um, the Mag TRD, if that's what it's called. The very big TRD, the giant TRD. Okay, that's what it's called. So the cool thing about this is most people are going to utilize it like a standard swimming worm. You're going to throw this on a 4 or 5/0 EWG style hook, and you're going to swim it weightless and weedless over the top of grass. And that's a very effective way to use the bait. But I think something that most people don't think to do is, especially when the bait wears out, but even not, I think this bait makes a very good spinner bait, chatter bait, uh, buzz bait trailer when cut down to say about 3.5 or 4 inches. So that is a way that I want to use this bait more moving forward. The kicker on this bait is a little bit more pronounced than what you get on all of the other baits that have this style tail. So anything in like the goat family has that same style tail. So got a pack of these because I have a pack in green pumpkin and a pack in black and blue, but I've used a few of each. And these were on sale, so I figured I'd get a pack in watermelon red. All right, I've got a couple of Yamamoto soft plastics in here. And this guy right here is the new Yamamoto 3-inch shad shaped worm. Okay, so you guys know that the shad shaped worm for me is a sleeper bait and just a really rock solid drop shot bait. I personally like to rig it upside down so the flat side is down, but you can rig it either way and both are totally acceptable. It's just personal preference and fall rate and how the bait moves. But now we've got the shad shaped worm in a downsized little baby profile that is smaller than the size of my pinky in terms of the body. So really, really tiny bait here. This is a cool color pattern, kind of like a sexy shad. You can see there's that chartreuse gold flake in there with some black flake. This color is like all numbers. It's called 306/187 with chartreuse. So some type of hybrid color, mixing a couple together, I suppose. Adam Mahera, I didn't see you in here, dude. Tourney tomorrow. Stopped in to leave a like. We'll probably watch the upload later this week. Okay, Adam. Well, good luck in the tourney, dude. Hope all goes well for you. Hope the weather's good. Hope the bite is good. Please report back. Talk to you soon. Shad-shaped worm on a scrounger is a sleeper. I believe you there. And I would imagine the new shad-shaped worm in the 5-inch is going to be the deal for that technique. So, yeah, they even made it with a floating material in the 5-inch. And it has a really cool action. But I don't throw a scrounger that often. A 5-inch trailer on a chatterbait or anything else like that is just generally a little bit too big for me. So when thinking about the 3 versus the 5 in the 2 new sizes of the shad shaped worm, for me, the 3-inch seemed a little bit more practical and something that I'm going to put to use not only for smallmouth fishing, but for multi-species fishing. So I'm excited to try these out. This other color that I got is chartreuse electric blue. And it's exactly what you would think it is. It's almost too light in color for the camera. Can we get that? You can catch a little bit of that flake. It washes it out when I put my hand there. Whatever. You get the picture. There's a lot of sparkly purple flake in here that I'm a big fan of that usually comes in like electric shad. So this is electric blue. And yeah, I like it. So new little drop shot bait for me that I might use to target smallmouth specifically or more finicky fish that aren't already biting something a little bit bigger. Might even throw this thing on a Ned rig or something of the sort. But this is a very thin, narrow profile bait, small bait. So maybe even like the new micro Ned rig potentially. But we'll see. Brennan says, I've never used a scrounger, LOL. Scroungers are they're interesting. I've found that you have to be patient. You have to kind of trust the action because at first, when you haven't done it, it feels weird. The bait swings really far wide. Um, so you have to get used to how it feels swimming and what that proper swim speed is. But it's got that cool action that fish just seem to like. So anyway, guys, let's get into the last thing in this package. Um, is it really the last thing already? I feel like it shouldn't be. How funny is that? Um, I got some tungsten weights. These were on clearance on Discount Tackle, and it's wild. The packaging is very subtle, very discreet. Tungsten worm weights. This is from Departure Outdoors. No chip tungsten worm weights. And the cool thing is these are 1/16 ounce tungsten weights. And this is a matte black color. So check out how tiny this little guy is. And that's going to be awesome for a little BFS setup in throwing around a small little soft plastic on, say, a 1/0 EWG hook and a 1/16 ounce Texas rig. So saw those on clearance and thought, oh, what the hey, I'll just scoop them up since they're $3. And I think like 5 in a pack. Not the worst. Okay, guys, this is the most exciting thing in the package, and really the reason that I pulled the trigger when I did for this month is that Discount Tackle got a shipment in of the Megabass Mag Draft 5 inches, which is generally speaking a rare bait. It's a JDM only bait that may or may not become more of a regular offering in the US, but until now, it has been JDM only. And it's a great bait, and it's surprisingly smaller than the 6 inch. So um, it's not cheaper. In fact, I think it's like $1 more. They're $12.99 at Discount Tackle. I want to say they're $13.99 over at the Hookup Tackle. Same 5 color patterns. 4 color patterns, 5 color patterns. I don't know exactly how many it is, but I got 4 of them. So we have got albino pearl shad, which is arguably the fan favorite color. It stands out a lot and is really good in kind of all water clarities. It's a very bright white. And so, yeah, albino pearl white. Well, I suppose I should show you side by side the size difference, but let's go through the colors first. Then the next closest color is the whiteback shad. It's a little bit more translucent of a color, has that kind of cloudy bluish white back, has a little bit of gold flake in the belly. Cool color there. Another shad pattern called Wagasaki. Come on, baby, stay with us. And Wagasaki has a whole lot of flash in it, a lot of transparency, a little bit of a brown back. It's got some purples and pinks in it in that belly. Gorgeous color. And then lastly, a bluegill color called Sunshine Gill. That chartreuse tail and that orange belly. So very cool that the hookup tackle wasn't the only retailer to get these baits in, and the Discount Tackle managed to get a batch in. And if I'm not mistaken, they still have like these 3 colors in, not the albino pearl shad. However, good news is for you guys, I did buy a second one in the albino pearl shad, and it's going to go into my giveaway pile. That eventually one of you guys will get. It's getting pretty big, so I feel like we ought to figure out a proper way to do the giveaway soon. But let me open this 5-inch in the albino pearl shad, and we can compare sizes between it and the 6. And I might have one of the regular 6s around too. Hang tight. So this is for specs. This is a 5-inch and 3/4 ounce bait. So only weighs 3/4 ounce. So you can throw this thing on any type of casting gear you want and get away with it no problem, especially because of that treble hook on the belly being all that you're fighting the fish with. So I mean, literally you could throw this on a crankbait setup, but I think probably best would be somewhere in the ballpark of like a chatterbait rod, something that's going to give you more of a medium heavy with more of a moderate style tip. And yeah, I am jazzed about this size offering. Well, I don't have any fresh 6-inch mag drafts that are in this albino pearl shad color, but whatever. You can see size-wise that there's a pretty significant difference between the 5 and the 6, just like there is between the 6 and the 8. It's almost that dramatic. And it's funny because when you look at the 6, 8, and 10 all next to each other, the 6 looks tiny. And when you look at the 5 and 6 together, the 5 looks tiny. So, pretty cool deal. And something that I think will get munched by a lot of fish. So I decided to pick up a handful of these. Now, you guys know obviously that the name Mag Draft refers to this harness system here. And I'll tell you that this might be the single strongest magnet that I have had in a Mag Draft bait so far. And I've had probably 20 or more. And I don't know if it's that the magnet is like protruding from the belly, but it is super strong. And so I was just about to say that I will almost guaranteed run this hook up into the belly, just 1 point, so that 2 are out. That's how I fish a mag draft almost all the time, simply because the hook tends to be an issue with that magnet not being quite strong enough to hold it on the cast, and then it doesn't always come back and attach to the bait during the retrieve. But this magnet feels pretty strong on this 5-inch. It actually takes a fair amount of pressure for me to pull it off of there. So who knows? I'll try both ways and report back and tell you kind of whether it's worth trying to leave it out and theoretically just have a little bit better hookup ratio. But I find that the hookup ratio is great with the 1 tucked in and the 2 out. So I picked up 5 of these little 5-inch mag drafts, and I'm excited about it. So Let me catch up on these comments. Sorry, guys. Brendan says those 5-inch mag drafts are dope. Did you ever get a jackhammer, Matt? Matt, did you ever buy a jackhammer? Because I didn't send you one yet. We never did a trade. Matt dilly-dallied on that. We never had any great ideas just yet, but I should just send the jackhammers. Do it before Christmas. There you go. Matt says, I have the worst luck with the mag drafts. Not sure why. I think I need to drown it in scent like I did with the sleeper gill. Maybe. I've had pretty good luck on the mag draft. I wonder if you're just not quite fishing it right. And, that sounds weird to say, but like in my experience, the mag draft is a speed sensitive bait. Some people believe that it can be fished really slow, and I'm just not necessarily one of those people. I don't think it does really well super slow, and I don't think it does well at all super fast. So, for me, somewhere in that true medium or bordering on medium fast is where I think the bait has the best action. And it does want to hang out in that like top portion of the water column, anywhere in that top 3 or 4 feet, uh, because of that retrieve speed mostly. So that's just the deal, is even if you count it down, it's going to want to rise back up as you retrieve it. So for me, it's a higher in the column, medium to medium fast style retrieve. And to me, I think it's got a slightly more appealing action than a Kitech. Right? It's got the dual action of the head wag and that tail kick. And for me, the tail kick is just a little bit more realistic. Um, and the vibration just more rhythmic than what you get out of a Kitech that has that big, wide kick that kind of, for the longest time, was the standard in boot tail performance for paddle tail swim baits. But I like the mag draft tail better. And even though I feel like there's less I can do with the mag draft, it has become more of a go-to swim bait for me than a Kitech. But that's just the evolution of things, right? I mean, the Kitech was kind of the top dog for a long time, and so even just 3 or 4 years ago, that was mostly all I threw when it came to a standalone swim bait. And then I started dipping into all these other different baits. So Brendan says, I'll just get the 5-inch spark shads. LOL. Well, the 5-inch spark shad is a different bait, right? Let's be honest. And it's a good bait, but it is different. Um, whoa. Okay. Almost just smashed everything. So the 5-inch spark shad is an awesome bait, but it's got this flat back and it has a completely different tail. So in my opinion, this tail is a bit more like a Kitech's tail. It doesn't drag as dramatically into the body because it's got more of a short tail. It's a little bit more Japanese-esque, where you get this really thinned out, slender tail and this wider, thick body. And it's a great design, but this is a very stable swimming bait. And it has a little bit wider of a kick. It does not have a head wag. Um, I like it, but mostly on like a weedless underspin, like an under flashy swimmer, is where I prefer the 5-inch spark shad. Um, more than anything. I mean, so far, just the way that it swims on its own doesn't necessarily give me the most confidence in its posture. And yeah, so I just want something else going for it. But as a standalone swim bait, the mag draft um, is really good, and I think worth the money. It's a different bait than the spark shad. Daniel, I think I already answered your question with the depth that the mag draft will run. It's roughly the same for all the baits, maybe a little bit deeper for the heavier baits than for the lighter baits, but still upper portion of the column. We're talking anywhere from 1, 2, 3, or as much as 5 feet, realistically. Matt says he just wants to throw a spinner bait instead of a mag draft. Weird. Or instead of a jackhammer? Carl hasn't used a jackhammer either? Sheesh. You guys are something else. Part of the no jackhammer squad, says Matt. That's funny. Um, and also not cool, guys. Not a cool squad to be in. Um, I can just take care of that right now. I've just got a few that I found sitting around that are not in my box of jackhammers. So, what do you say we talk offline, guys? Um, yeah, Caro and Matt, hit me up after tonight's stream, and I'm gonna send you each at least one, if not two, jackhammer chatterbaits. You are tonight's random giveaway winners. Congratulations. Send me an email to hooksetsairefree18@gmail.com. Not kidding. Or message me on Instagram where you already have my contact information. Caro and Matt, you guys have each won at least one jackhammer chatterbait, if not two. We will talk details after the show. Okay. Hit me up on Instagram or send me an email. Hooksetsairefree18@gmail.com. Okay, and then I'm going to show you last month's unboxing, which is actually pretty sick. And I meant to post this unboxing video already, but it is what it is. And this will be fun for everybody right now because we're 38 minutes into the stream now. We've been holding strong at 13 people in here. Not a huge crowd, but you guys are cool. I appreciate you hanging out. And let's talk about baits a little bit more tonight and why I love Discount Tackle. So drop a comment in the chat right now and let me know, have you made a purchase? Have you ever made an order at Discount Tackle? Yes or no? Not a problem if you haven't, but I do highly recommend that you consider shopping there, that you at least work them into your arsenal, your repertoire, the places that you go to check for tackle if you shop regularly. Okay, I just dropped a link in the chat on this live chat to my affiliate link with Discount Tackle. Doesn't save you extra money. Discount Tackle already gives you money off. Okay. Uh, Not everything is discounted, obviously. They're not allowed to discount products from Megabass and Jackal and Shimano, and a bunch of other brands that require all retailers to lock that minimum advertised price. But otherwise, you can save good money every day on Z-Man, Strike King, um, 13 Fishing, Kitech, um, Spro. I mean, I could rattle off like 20 different brands that are top tier brands that I love to fish with that are regularly discounted at Discount Tackle. You can save money anytime you shop there. So do consider shopping at Discount Tackle. I always did before I started working with them, and that relationship has gone well since I've been working with them, and I've only shopped there more since then. So, Daniel, I'm surprised to hear that you've never made an order at Discount Tackle, dude. What in the world? How about we make that video where we set a budget and I shop for you, Daniel? Didn't you suggest that as a video idea? I thought that would be pretty cool, man. All right, so guys, we're gonna just rip through some soft plastics here first because there's kind of a lot in this package, but I do want to talk about them. So, oh. First up, it's from 6 cents. I think a lot of these were on sale. Like, Discount Tackle has an end of season clearance sale going on right now. And so, like you would notice at 6 cents or some other places, they've got a bunch of stuff that is just like blowout prices right now. I don't have the invoice in here right now to like rattle off the prices I paid for these baits, but the prices were good. All right, I'll tell you that much. I was saving somewhere between ballpark 30% off on average. Okay. Tom Mix in the house. I'm one of the 13. I just woke up. Unplanned nap. I feel like that happens to you a fair amount, Tom. Ooh, Abe in the house. What is up? Got to watch a Hall & Oates concert from high up in our RV park. Nice, dude. Sounds pretty sweet. Frank says, Matt Allen from Tactical Bassin said he likes the 5-inch mag draft because he can throw it on lighter line. Anyone else feel that way? I mean, yeah, no, I definitely would agree because lighter weight baits can be thrown on lighter line, just as a general rule of thumb, and especially so when we're talking about treble hook baits. So, yes, I do think that, the 6-inch mag draft can be thrown on 15-pound line, no problem. You could even go lighter down to 12. And then with this guy, the 5-inch, I mean, you could definitely throw it on 12, maybe even 10-pound line, and not be concerned about the line breaking. And yeah, so definitely something you can do. Brendan says, I throw it on a 7.3 medium heavy fast action rod. Brendan says, I would be making a $50 order there, but they don't have the mag scooper frogs that I'm wanting. LOL. That's funny. That has been an issue for me sometimes in the past is Discount Tackle not having everything on my wish list. So I end up having to make two separate orders. One from Discount Tackle with everything that I did want that's a better deal at Discount Tackle, usually supplemented with some other things to get me over the free shipping, sometimes not. And then I'll make a separate order from somewhere else to round out the rest of my wish list order, if you will. But that's the thing, is Discount Tackle has a good selection, but not the absolute best. So first on the order for, or first on the list for this order from last month is the 6 cent Stroker Craw in the Dark Water Bug. This is not new. Why is this in this bag? I didn't get this. I just rigged this up on a jig like a couple weeks ago. There's only 4 left in this pack. This was not on clearance. This was not in my order, but is a bait that I throw. So there's the 6 cent Stroker Craw, which just dropped on the ground and all the baits flew out. That's cool. That's cool. Whole lot of dead space for no reason. 6 cent Stroker Craw getting some love that no one expected. So hopefully the other things in here are things that were in this order. I'm fairly certain they are. Okay, here's 2 baits that I thought were exactly the same. You guys tell me, what's your understanding of the Strike King Baby Z2? First of all, here's a little pop quiz. What do you know that I think about this bait? Do I like this bait and why? I mean, you could probably assume that I do since I just stocked up on them. But what do you know about this bait? Tom's in the basement mending some baits. Did you fall asleep with Mend It in your hand, man? And you're repairing some Stroker Craws. Okay. Brendan says, because it's the same Marshall as the Z-Man? Do you mean same mold? Or same maker? Or same material? What are you saying with Marshall? Daniel says, that's the one bait that had a bad reaction in bait fuel. Interesting. I haven't had a bad reaction with this and bait fuel, but that's because I've only applied it in the moment. I haven't put the bait fuel in the bag with these. Brendan says, is it a Laztec? Yes, it is. I believe it says right there on the package. Made with Elaztec. Elaztec and EP are trademarks of Z-Man Fishing Products Incorporated. So, yes, this bait is made by Z-Man for Strike King. And this is a drop shot bait, a downsized version of the fluke style bait of theirs called the Z2. And this is just a little guy, 3.75 inches. This is one of my favorite colors called Arkansas Shiner. Very subtle brown back, kind of pearlescent clear belly. And this is an awesome, awesome bait. Pretty standard fork tail on that guy and hook slot on the back. Okay. This bait is so incredibly underrated, even though pros are whacking them on this bait left and right and have been for years. It's not like this bait is a secret by any means. KVD swears by it, and there were a ton of pros that did really well on this bait this year, and we're not shy about publicizing that. And so I was curious if or how it might differ from this bait right here, which is the Z-Man Streaks 375. Z-Man makes the Streaks and the um, Jerk Shads. Okay, both are fluke style baits. The Jerk Shads is a scented bait made for saltwater, and this guy, the Streaks, is not. If you look at this profile, I mean, to me, that looks like the exact same bait. So I literally bought the Streaks 375 so that I could compare these baits side by side, which I did in the unboxing video that I made, but I'll do again for you guys right now. You can see that side by side, these baits are they're the same. Okay. It might not be that easy for you to see in the moment right now, but this mold is the same. Same size bait, same uh, gill spots and eyes, same belly slots and hook slots. Same mold. However, the formulation of the plastic is the difference. Okay. So, what I knew was the case with the Strike King, and I knew it probably had something to do with the magic of this bait, is the salt content in it. There is some salt in this bait. It's also some dog hair in it, but you may or may not be able to see that. There's less than normal in this particular bait, but as you stretch it out and the salt comes out of the bait, this bait starts to look a little bit more roughed up. It looks more natural, and the buoyancy of it is somewhere between very buoyant and neutrally buoyant, which is awesome. Okay. Kind of perfect on a drop shot. This guy right here, which is the Streaks, is made by Z-Man. Comes in some awesome colors that honestly the Baby Z2 doesn't come in. The Baby Z2 is only made in like a half a dozen different colors, and they're all pretty basic. But the Streaks 375 comes in some cool colors, a few dozen different colors. One of them being this one, Ralph's Shad, uh, kind of like a blue shad type of color with some blue flake in there, and it's gorgeous. But the thing is, this guy has absolutely no salt in it. Zero salt. So this thing on a nose hook is going to sit like this. You're going to have to keep tension on the line to keep this thing anywhere near horizontal in terms of posture on a drop shot. The second you give it slack, that thing's going like this. Okay. Which to me is a little bit unnatural. And I've never loved drop shotting Z-Man baits for that reason, because I feel that you have to have very good bottom contact and tension on your line um, to have a great looking action underwater with just how buoyant the Z-Man baits are that have zero salt in them. So I honestly think that the 3.75 Streaks would be awesome on a Ned rig, like really good on a Ned rig. Um, I think it would also be really good on the back of a Mini Max chatterbait, or any mini chatterbait for that matter. But for now, the Baby Z2 is going to remain toward the top of my list when it comes to drop shot baits when I'm trying to imitate small bait fish. Okay, so got two of these, one of each pack. While we're still on Z-Man and while we're still on flukes, I will switch over. Brendan says, why are all the 7/0 and 8/0 worm hooks out of stock? Ugh. That's a good question. I don't know, dude. All right, guys, check this out. Next up is the Streaks XL. This is an 8-inch fluke style bait made of Elastec. This is quite literally the opposite of what I just showed you. This bait could easily eat the bait that I just last showed you. So how cool is this? This is really made to be a saltwater bait. Would be awesome for stripers, etc. Little bit different than the 7-inch jerk shads that they make that I do have. I don't know if I have any sitting right here or not, but this guy's just a hair bigger, and I like the look of it. So this is a bait that I'm gonna try and put to use sooner than later, but it looks like it's really well poured, well made. This color here is called Smoky Shad. Has always been one of my favorite colors that Z-Man makes. Has a little bit of blue flake in there with all of that silver. And yeah, it comes 2 to a pack, but these are absolute massive hunks of plastic. When rigged weedless, these things are going to float. So they do need to be fished with some weight on them. You can use a weighted beast hook. You can Nico rig them. You can use nail weights. Or you can Carolina rig these things, or you can just skip them on the surface and use them like a weedless walking bait. So either way, I saw that those guys were in stock and on sale. They were super cheap, like less than $4 for the pack of 2. So I decided to pick up a pack and try them out, because that's a wild and cool big bait that I think can and will do well in certain situations for sure. So that is the Streaks XL from Z-Man. And then I've been talking about this bait and specifically waiting for this color to come in stock. And this is the Goat Toads from Z-Man. I already took one out and have it rigged up. I used it like a week or 2 ago on the back of a buzz bait. And that's exactly what I bought this bait and color for. So the Goat Toads, in my opinion, is a solid toad style bait. Great for skipping and great for throwing on the back of a buzz bait, but it does have a fair amount of weight on its own and does really well as a subtle buzzing toad. It's not a super aggressive, loud kicking action to it, but it does make some noise, especially on a faster retrieve. So it is made from Elastec, is super durable, but what I found pretty similar to the Savage Gear Duratec Toad from a durability standpoint. They each have their own issues. For me, the Duratec Toad from Savage Gear had issues with the nose blowing out. It's too thin right here, so where you actually go to Texas rig it, that chin will blow out, and all of a sudden the bait is kind of useless pretty quickly. This bait doesn't have that problem, but you can't very easily rig it on a double frog hook because it then comes through this back portion below the body, and this is thin. So if you pierce it more than once or twice, then this thing starts to get uh, really worn out and wants to rip a little too easy on you. So you do have to use a single hook as this guy was designed. Single EWG, weighted or weightless is fine because this bait is keeled and weighted properly. It will stay belly down for you. But really good toad style bait. So comes 3 to a pack and they're like $5 a pack, but they were on sale and I like them well enough. First impressions of the bait have been good. So decided to pick up a pack of those since the black was in stock. Matt says, now that's what we're talking about. That's some striper candy. Talking about those Streaks XL. Gonna get a pack of those. Okay. Look at all you guys going nuts for the big stuff, huh? That's funny. Matt says, imagine that on a musky chatterbait. Yeah, for real. You know, throw one of those on a chatterbait that's even bigger than like a big blade chatterbait that's got something like a, you know, an 8-aught or 10-aught hook in it. That would be pretty sweet. Daniel says, I heard Brendan say that an 8-inch fluke is his finesse size bait. Funny, funny. All right, so last up, I got 2 packs of the net bait, pack of slim, bait fuel baits. You guys saw that I had picked these up last month. I think they only had 1 or 2 colors in stock when I first got these. And then when I saw them, I wanted to stock up. So I got 2 colors of these guys just to pair up on different color jigs. So the first is this Delta Flare color. So you'll see it's green pumpkin red. It's like a Delta red craw type of color. So the red is the belly, green is the back, and then it's got these dipped claws, which you can see are red on the tip. So pretty cool. They have these flare colors. I think there's like 3 of the flare colors, maybe something like that. Delta Flare, and then Black Shadow Flare is the other color that I got. And this guy is black with like a sapphire blue belly. And then with the tips dipped blue. So, pretty cool. Just a bait that I intend to incorporate into my arsenal a little bit more moving forward. The Paca Craw, whether it's the Paca Slim or any of the baits in the Paca family, I think are a bit underrated. It's a lot like the Chigger Craw from Berkeley, but that very wild flapping action that is not quite as rhythmic as what you get out of like a Rage Bug or even a Rage Craw that has that kick as opposed to just flapping action. Can be deadly on a few different types of retrieves, whether you're slow fishing a jig to get that kind of waving flappy action, or you're swimming something to get more of that flappy swimming action. Both can be very effective depending on the scenario. So got those 2 packs of soft plastics, and then we've just got a handful of more things in this package. Did get a couple of the Midwest Finesse swim jigs. I think I opened one for you guys last time. Maybe in the green pumpkin color. But I'll tell you what, this bluegill color is not one that I am too jazzed about. I thought we already talked about this. Did I not open one of these already? I'm going to not open this and potentially give it away if I have a duplicate of this, all right? Because I don't love the color of it. This bluegill has a little bit too much going on in the way of blue and yellow and orange. Doesn't seem very natural to me, but I'll open the white one for you guys. I got all of these in the 3/16 ounce size. So they make these in three sizes total. Keep in mind, this is a finesse swim jig. So they make it in a 5/32, a 3/16, and a quarter. A quarter is the heaviest they make this thing in. So I got it in the medium size, the 3/16. And I mean, this guy is tiny, right? It comes with a light wire 3/0 hook. I'll tell you what, this thing does not feel like it has a 3/0 hook in it. Okay. Um, I mean, technically, it might be if we actually break it down and put it, side by side with the other Z-Man hooks. But it looks like this is just a Ned rig hook. If you went to their line of hooks, they've got the finesse shrooms hooks, which are the Ned rig hooks that are on like a size 1 hook. Um, and then they go up to the um, not the finesse shrooms, but the shrooms jig head, the one made for the big TRD that's more like a 2/0 hook. And then they make the mag shrooms hook, which is a 6/0 hook meant for the giant TRD. But I'll tell you what, from a gauge of hook and bait keeper and bend of the hook, I mean, this looks like it's very similar to the one made for the big TRD. But regardless, it's a light wire hook. That is the point to drive home here. This is a finesse swim jig, bordering on micro swim jig. So Z-Man claims that the best trailers for this thing are going to be the Baby Goat, or like the 3-inch Slim Swims, or the 3-inch Minnows, all made by Z-Man. And I have a couple of those. Let's see if I have any of them close by. I sure do. I've got the Baby Goat in the white, accessible and on the ready. Holy shnikes. Do I have any of the others, though? We got Grubs. Does that count? Wow. Craws out the wazoo. Bugs and boar hogs and crabs and crusties. All right, so I don't have them readily accessible, but I do have what I think is going to be the best pairing for it, and it's going to be the Baby Goat. So I'm plowing through this pack of white Baby Goats. I've got 2 left in here after this. I think the goat has been the bait from Z-Man that over the last couple seasons I have used more of than anything else. And I'm a big fan. So there are 2 ways to rig the goat, just like the Menace Grub from Strike King. You can rig it like this, where you're going to get that kicking action, right? Or you can rig it vertically, where you're going to get more of a side swimming kicking action like this, as opposed to up and down. So it totally depends on the type of action that you're going for. If you want the bait to stay up high in the water column or have a little bit more pronounced of an action, then you're going to want to rig it so that it's kicking like so. Also, if you're looking to skip a swim jig, that is a good way to rig it, because a bait like this is actually flat. A little bit hard for you to see, but it's relatively flat on the bottom and narrower on the sides. So when rigged like this, it'll skip. When rigged like this, it won't skip as well. It's going to cut through things, but I'm going to rig it like that and show you guys my thought process and why I'm rigging it this way. This plastic's not wanting to cooperate very well right now, so let's see if this looks really janky the first go around. Sometimes it does when rigging Lastech. You know, you got to be patient with it. And what do you know? This actually looks good on the first go. So here is what a rigged up new Z-Man Micro swim jig looks like for me. As you can see, I've rigged it with this bait sideways, okay? For me, this is going to give it just a little bit longer of a profile and more of a subtle bait fishy action swimming through the water. I want this thing cutting through stuff. This head is a fairly versatile shape where it does come to a point, but it's not super narrow. So it will still come over stuff fairly well, come through laydowns and things. But for the most part, I'm swimming this in and around grass, like most other swim jigs. And it looks to be a good one, but these things are a little bit overpriced, if I'm being honest. Brendan, do not leave. Brendan. Brendan, do not leave. Brendan, do not leave. Brendan, leave a comment. Let me know that you did not leave. Brendan, don't leave. I was saving this one for you because I thought you would stay, dude. We're here right at the end of the package, pretty much, man. And I wanted you to see this. Someone get Brendan back in here for 5 minutes, all right? Because if you recall on my stream last month, I think half of the reason that I bought this was Brendan. Not really, but I want him to be able to see this. If he's gone, I'm not opening this thing for you guys. If he comes back, I'll open it and rig it up. But otherwise, I'm not doing it. So if you guys remember, Discount Tackle was running a sweet deal, and I think they still are. Like crazy good deal on the swim baits. So let me check their homepage just to double check that this promo is still running. I can't see whether or not it is. They don't have it like on the homepage anymore. Let me check. What is this bait called, guys? Is it the BAMF? Yes. Okay, so the deal is still going on. They're claiming that the retail price of this package is $54.99, and you can buy it for $24.99. And what that is 2 of these baits and 1 pack of 2 hooks to rig the baits with. So you get 2 of them. And this is a massive bait. Super cool bait. You'll be able to see the color a little bit better from this side. It has a little bit of like a golden green side and back to it. The back is a little bit more black, and the belly has this like blue hue to it that you wouldn't be able to see unless you're looking at it in the light. It looks translucent. So this color is called Mean Green Shad, and As you can see, the bait is 8 inches and weighs 3.57 ounces. That's very specific, but I'm not mad about that. So this was a Discount Tackle exclusive color, and I like it a lot. It says on the package, shows you exactly that this is designed. Recommended hook is an Owner Beast 12-aught. Okay. So that is an absolute giant hook that I have never owned. I don't think I've ever even had a 10-aught Beast hook. So I've only rocked the 4, 6, and 8 up until now. The 12 is huge, but luckily they do come 2 to a pack. And so Discount Tackle sells those as well. And here they are. It's a 3/4 ounce weighted hook, 12-aught, and it matches up with this bait perfectly. You can see that the profile, just the detail on the head, the shape of the chin and head, the placement of the fins on this bait are all just very anatomically realistic. It's awesome, and looks a lot like a gizzard shad. So you get these anchors in here, which we've talked about before. These are nose anchors, which I'm not sure how well you can see them. They're just like these baby plastic toothpicks with these grooves. So you screw in your Owner Beast hook into the nose of the bait, and once the screw lock is in, then you use the anchors to go into and lock that screw lock into the nose of the bait. So pretty sick. And I am going to make a video showing how to rig this bait, but I was going to do that for you guys free of charge on tonight's live stream. And what do you know? Freaking Brendan had to go leave us like that, guys. It's all good. There's actually only one other thing in the package. I had gotten 2 of the Midwest Finesse swim jigs, and also one thing I didn't show you, I did get a pack of the Micro Finesse Shrooms jig heads. These are made to pair up with the new Z-Man Micro Finesse baits. They're like panfish Elastec baits. And I made this order when Z-Man had not gotten everything in yet, but they had a couple colors in some of these sizes, and I really wanted to get a pack in the tiniest size, which for them is a 1/30th ounce and has a tiny little size 6 hook on it, I believe. Yeah, size 4 on the heavier ones, size 6 on the 1/30th and the 1/20th. So got a pack of those jig heads, and then I also got a topwater bait. I don't know if you guys remember that, but while I was placing this order, something spoke to me about this. I think I was bragging on this bait, telling you guys about how underrated and well priced it is, and then they happen to have this bait in a black in stock. So I couldn't help but add one to the cart while we were at it. It's $8, guys. I mean, this is a $10 JDM walking bait that you can buy on sale at Discount Tackle anytime. Yozuri and Dual Hardcore are 2 brands that I really like that are Japanese, but that you can buy for very reasonable prices here in the US. And Discount Tackle has good relationships with them, and you can save an extra 20% off of all of their already good deals when shopping at Discount Tackle. So this walking bait it looks pretty straightforward, straight out of the pack, right? It's got that standard cupped nose that you see in a lot of the mainstream walking baits today. You see it in the Sammy, you see it in the Vixen, and a lot of the other major walking baits, but they've got this wave motion belly technology. These grooves built in that send out a little bit of a vibration. It's got pretty dramatic gills. It walks really well, and it's got a pretty deep knock to it. It is a lower pitch than the majority of walking baits that I use, even than the majority of the one knocking walking baits that I use. So anyway, I am a fan of this, and for $8, decided to add it to the order. So that makes up last month's discount tackle order and this month's. So there you go, an hour and 20 minutes to unbox 2 months worth of tackle, roughly what, $180 worth or something like that. What do you think about the stuff that I picked up in these 2 orders? Anything that is, say, your favorite? What were you most excited about? What would you be most likely to purchase yourself? Or is there any of that stuff that you think you might go pick up after having watched this? Wait, Brendan's back? Dude, I didn't see. Is Brendan back? Brendan! Brendan's back. Brendan's back. Oh, guess who's back? Brendan. Brendan's back. All right, dude, I'm going to show you. Dude, I'm going to show you. Let's do this. I really wanted to do this. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming back. My dog. We got it. We've got it live in person, and I said I wouldn't do it unless you were here. All right. This is the 8-inch BAMF shad from 13 Fishing and Coalition Baits, right? All you see is Coalition Baits. You don't really see 13 on it. So, yeah, let's go ahead and rig this bad boy up. Discount Tackle is still selling the deal, which is a pack of the Owner Beast 12-aught hooks, which match up perfectly with this bait, and 2 of these baits for $24.99. That's an absolute deal. I don't know what to tell you. Really good deal. You're getting more than one of these swim baits for free by purchasing that. So I decided to take advantage, and I recommend that you guys do too, but I can't tell you what to do. These baits are a mess to open. The packages will never go back together, but wow. Why did I smell that? Okay, so I'm going to take these little anchors out of here. I don't know that I need all 4 of them. You know, you're really supposed to make an X when you're done with this, but here's the bait. Golly, can I lower this light? You can see how blue that is now that I'm like hiding some of this light. I wish you guys could see right now just how like translucent aquamarine blue this is. This is a bad idea, but not going to work. Doesn't help at all right now. Okay. So here's the bait. Here's the hook. You'll be able to see right now that this is a match made in heaven. But just to show you, I'm going to show you that really what we want to do most of the time when we're rigging these swim baits is line up the back so that you can see how the hook is going to lay. Okay? How you want it to lay in the back. And then see how this screw lock needs to go into the chin or where. So I do prefer to screw these directly into the chin, not into the nose most of the time. Okay, so I'm going to go. This is one thing where, like, I wish I had a chesty on right now to show some of you guys, but this is just a standard procedure screw lock situation. And it wants to go one too far, which I don't love. I'm actually going to back it out and try it one more time. So I'm going to grab it in a slightly different spot. Screw this little bad boy in. Golly, does it want to go too far? And I'm going to let it. All right. We're going to shove this hook. Now that it's screwed up in that nose, we're going to shove this hook up in that cavity. And you'll be able to see that it already kind of rests in there. But what I've noticed about these baits through having the newer generation 5-inch is, check this out. You can see that there's already a hole down here that is made for the hook to come out. Okay. You do not need to pierce this hook slot with your hook unless, say, you used a different hook than what is recommended. So all you need to do is bend this thing back and find the slot and guide that hook up and through the slot. So that then it rests on the top in this hook slot. So take a look at this guy right here. This weight just sits right in this belly. I mean, you could almost mend it that thing shut. So you can tell the way that they designed this belly is so that this material will kind of sit around the weight and not be overly bulky or awkward. And you see that that hook will easily set and eject all the way out the back because of that design. So pretty sweet. Um, the last thing that we didn't do is that anchor system. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Um, you can see that I screwed this guy in just below the chin and slightly at an angle like this. Okay. First, I had gone a little bit too low and went up, and I caught the material a little awkward, and it wasn't screwing in the right way for me. So I just backed out and went a little higher and at an angle. And this right here to me is perfect. But because it is, we're going to go ahead and anchor this in. And basically, I'm going to look at the bottom. I can see the spring myself because this plastic is a little translucent. So I'm going to go from the corner from the bottom like so on both sides of the bait. So before I press these in, this is what it's going to look like, these guys protruding. And I'm just going to stick them in like you would a nail weight. And the cool thing is when you actually get these in, you can feel it kind of gets stuck as it locks, as it goes through that screw lock. So I've only put 2 of those anchors in right now, one there and one here. And I think they've already done a remarkable job. So I don't know that I'm going to add the other 2 right now, but there she is, fully rigged, guys. Boom shakalaka. This is our 8-inch BAMF shad, and a bait that now I think kind of takes the cake for being my heaviest swim bait that I have. Because unrigged, what did it say? 5.4 ounces, something like that. And then you add 3/4 ounces for that weight on the hook. So we're talking a 6-ounce bait. Definitely something that's going to be needed to be thrown on my extra heavy setup. So I'm excited. It smells awful, Brendan. It smells like paint, dude. Yeah, Matt, the tail is absolutely massive. Um, I mean, it dwarfs a Kitech 6.8 tail, which is crazy to think about. Oh, what's Caro doing tomorrow? Ooh, taking the yak to a big lake tomorrow. All right, we will pray for you. Good luck. 700 plus miles of shore. Um, well, good luck to you. I hope you catch them really well tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight, Caro. Um, I'm jealous that you're going fishing tomorrow. So keep us posted. Best of luck on the water. Brendan, yeah, you probably should, dude. I mean, for the money, when you think about it, 25 bucks for 2 baits and a pack of giant beast hooks is just, it's too good of a deal. Um, like even if this bait was mediocre, it would be a good deal. And this bait to me feels pretty solid, like pretty impressive. Um, I've already really liked the 5-inch, and it seems that this bait is made as well, if not better. I like all the little details where you get these fins that are all added and are thin and give that little bit of extra secondary action. And like Matt was saying, you get this absolutely gigantic tail and very natural gizzard shad profile, that nose and the gills. Um, it's gorgeous. Just smells like paint. Smells like paint, but it is a custom color. That custom color, that mean green shad was made. It's a collaboration between Discount Tackle and 13 Fishing. 13 is another company that Discount Tackle has great relationships with. And so um, you can buy their stuff discounted on the regular. So Matt says, what about those Weston musky baits you have? Um, the musky baits or the pike baits? Because I think I got a little bit of both, but um, yeah, here's that 10-inch mag draft style bait. They call it the hypo tees that I rigged up for you guys. This double stinger setup. The tail is pretty big on that guy, but in comparison, actually they're close to the same. The tail is about the same size. On the 10-inch hypo tees from Weston, the tail is about the same size as it is on the 8-inch BAMF shad. So, good question, Matt. I mean, go for it, Brendan. You're gonna clip and trim all the fins. Why do you say that? Because you want it to be more weedless, or what? Why don't you want that extra action and realism? Oh, Matt, that's a good question. The hypo teas, they weigh like 5 ounces. Um, we weighed them in that video where I unboxed them. I have like three of these in the 10 inch. I've got one in a rainbow trout pattern and one in more of like a shad pattern as well. But uh, I do like this bait. I really wish they had made it with, a cutout belly. And that's part of why this thing weighs as much as it does. It should weigh more like, 4 ounces, because it's that more slender profile. But this thing is just solid plastic. So it is really heavy and therefore hard to rig. Are you going to rig this thing on a jig head and have the hook be all the way up here? Uh, no, realistically, most people rig it on a stinger setup, whether you're rigging on bottom or on back. And I might actually move this up to the top of the bait, uh, just for personal preference and hookup ratio and treatment of the fish. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I haven't actually fished this yet. I didn't get to go to the body of water where I typically go to target pike. I didn't get to go at all this year. So unfortunately, haven't put this bait to the test yet. But Brendan says, do fish swim with all the fins sticking out? No, the fins are tucked tight to the body. Look up fish swimming. That's true. You said now on baits that you drag, you keep the fins. Okay, so you're trying to imagine realistically like what's happening. A fish swimming around does have them tucked in. It's only when they're hovering, um, or when they're defensive or whatever, that their fins and their gills start to do different things. And so for a bait that's swimming, it really ought not have all of those things, those appendages, and that extra unrealistic action, is what you're saying. So I get what you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree. Well, one of my children is awake, guys. That might be my call to get out of here. I apologize, but my 4-year-old is awake. Um, so unfortunately, I'm gonna dip out of here. Um, it's been fun. We didn't get to catch up as much as normal, but that's okay. We'll do that soon, I promise. Um, we're going to get back on more of a regular schedule. Hopefully, I can get out and do some fishing here in the next week or two. But thank you guys for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button for me. Leave a comment after this video posts. And have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. Peace, guys.